Cool. And now what we're going to do is we're going to say quad tree add new rectangle at x, y, and we'll do 20 by 20. And the data is just going to be nothing. Okay, so that's not too bad there. So what we're going to do is we're going to need to render this out. I'm going to stay away from this render loop. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually just create a function on quad tree. It's going to be a lot easier to work with. So we're going to say public function debug. We'll give it the graphics and graphics 2. And what we're going to do is whenever we click, we're going to just render out our quads. So we're going to say if actually we'll do is we're just going to render our rectangle. So I'm going to do G, G again. We're not going to clear it, so false. And say graphics draw rectangle, and it's going to be area dot x, area dot y, area width, area height. Okay, and then G end. Okay, so that should get us started. So here we should have a white box drawn around, or black possibly too. I'm not sure what the default color is, but we can set that. Drawn around our screen. And actually that's not true because we actually have to call it. So we're going to say quad tree debug graphics. Kill that. That exceeds. So we can look at what we're going to do next here. So here we're going to say for node in tree bar leaf quad tree node leaf equals cast node, and now we're going to begin false. There's our game there. So there's our white box. You can kind of see it there. See here. It's very faint, but it is there. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. It's very faint, but it is there. So it is tracking that. So I'm going to say draw. I think it's actually what fill rect leaf area. Actually, I'm just going to simplify this a little bit. I'm going to go var leaf area rectangle leaf dot rect, or leaf dot area. There we go. Fill rect would be leaf area dot x, leaf area y, leaf area width, leaf area dot width, and leaf area height. Okay, and G dot end. So we're in a little sketchy area right now, because if we add more than 4, I think is our default, is we split at 5. Yeah, so if we had more than 4, it'll actually crash the game. So because this won't cast correctly, but we can just go ahead and crash it, I suppose. And so now we need that open, and there's us placing things, and it should crash now. Boom. Okay. And so now let's go over to here. So we just need to check if, let's say, if it's our first. Now we can just say if tree 0 standard is a quad tree, and we're going to need to go through the quad tree for node in tree, for quad tree cast node quad dot debug g. Okay. And so everything will work. It's working right. We'll actually see quad trees splitting as we drop our squares. Now what I want to do here is I want to G. Actually, what we could do is we can get our data. So here's that guy. Ooh, that was weird. Another guy running around. There's our placing of our squares, and there's our quad tree drawing and figuring out that we need to split here. So we some dots in different places. We can actually do it where it straddles it, like right there. And you'll see how it split in two areas because it's straddling both. And so that looks pretty cool. And we'll just keep placing some here. Eventually it'll fill in and it won't actually add any more. So that's our max depth working for us. So that's looking good. Frame rate's still looking fast. It's running around good. And that looks great. So now what we need to do is what we're going to do is we're going to create dynamic. We're going to do leaf.data. And what we're going to do is we're going to do g.color equals color from bytes. I'm going to say data R, data G, data, oops, that's a comma, G, comma, data B. And I think the last one's alpha, which we're going to just leave there. So now, it's our test. We're going to, when we create, we're going to do, what the heck? Retar. This is a really weird word that popped up. Standard int, no, standard random, 255, G is standard random 255, and B standard random 255. So that'll give us some different colors for each one so we can see how they sort of stack against each other. So that's going to be kind of fun to see. And actually, while that's building, what we're going to do is we're going to say if button equals 0, we're going to add. And so here's our drawing. So run around. Ooh, look at that. We got the entire screen changing, but we do have different colors. So what's going on, that's easy to fix, is, oops, at least we have some colors happening here. So, very nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. Look at that. Stacks right up real nicely in there. Okay, so that's easy to fix. The discoing is that what we can do is we just need to set the color back. So we're going to say G color equals color white. So that will set that back. Now let's test our remove. I'm going to say else if button equals 1. And say quad tree remove. I'm going to say quad tree get first item at point, new point x, y, and that'll do it. Yeah, there. And let's see this. Go for it. So there's our game. Having kind of a resetting problem, but there we go. There's our colors are fixed. There we go, pretty colors. And if you right click, it goes away. If you right click anywhere, nothing happens, no crashing. So this should, see, actually removes there, so that's good. Oh, it doesn't seem to be removing. We may have a bug. If that one doesn't remove, there we go. That's just a bad click. So there we go. And back in. I'm going to put one right here, and then we're going to remove it. And that looks pretty good. That's nice. See how it like cleans itself up? Click. There we go. Click. Look at that. So there's our quad tree in action. And so that's pretty cool. Sort of, let's see, yeah, we got a bug. There it is, there's a bug. This didn't actually start splitting again. So I'm going to debug that later. But for the most part, it's working. I'll figure out what that bug is. It's pretty cool though. Right click doesn't always seem to pick up here. And yeah, see, that should have not cleaned up so early. So there's probably some sort of count that's missing here. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, see, that should have cleaned up right there. So I'm betting something is not being fully cleaned up, but that's okay. That's all fixable. So that was kind of cool. Not going to, actually I might save that this way. So what we can do is we can get rid of color and graphics. And we can say graphics to graphics. And we can say color. So that works. And then we can say if not test. And so now we can save that through. And here we'll probably want to get rid of this stuff because we don't want it really part of our game. So we're just going to go git checkout. Git status here. Git add sources, collections, quad tree, git commit, added a debug drawer for our quad tree. And I'll just keep that around until we solve a couple of, like that last bug for sure. And I'm actually going to add one more function, which is actually grabbing all pieces in a given rectangle. And that will be pretty cool, and I'll show you how that's going to work when we get there. So git checkout sources live game. So now what I want to do is I want to kill that off. What I want to do is also want to show that our tests are looking good. So our quad tree is fully covered, which is good, makes me happy. So keeping our test coverage up, got a few things to get tested. Our test coverage is pretty low, but it has to do that we didn't test our tweening system, which I'll get that tested, and we'll bring this up to probably somewhere in the 80s pretty quick, but there's always room to test better and more. There's a game loop viewport tracker test. We can probably do some better testing in here. So let's see here, game loop. Test I just one, so I'll do tests. So it looks like the only one we need to do, we can do that real quick, is interesting. Is I think what we need to do is test should not subscribe if game object is null. And what we're going to do is viewport tracker. This is kind of off game object. Oops. Null. Subscriber. Subscribe. Event names. Enter game loop. Cast any. No. Yeah. Verify 0 times. And so object is not instance of mock in line 71. Let's run that again. It seems to line feed really weird. It's still line feeding weird. So game loop should not just subscribe if game object is null. Object is not instance of mock game. Oh wait. Aha. All right. So our subscriber is a real one. So what we're going to do is we're going to say this, and we're going to do this. I'm going to say 2, 3, cast any, and you should verify 0 times each. And I think the map subscriber, we can talk to the subscriptions. But I think, what was it, the game loop, game entities, game loop, yeah, so you brought it up just a little bit, but that shows you that we're keeping our test coverage better, so I'm not sure what we're missing on this one at this point, other than tracker update, probably dispose and init, probably aren't being tested, so that's actually pretty important. So anyways, more testing to do, and that'll give us a good track of how well we're keeping things tested. So now, one thing I want to get to is our, I think we have a UI manager, and we haven't started this yet. And so, returns an interactive area from key, returns null from no key matched. And so, register active area gives a key. Get all interactive areas. So we'll call this something like it's more of an UI manager registry. Just call this a main UI manager. Seems reasonable enough. That extends space object, so that's great. So we're going to implement main UI manager. Nope, just UI manager. You can't implement yourself. What are you thinking? He's in charge here. And should probably not use a caret for these things, so just letting you know, carets don't work. Alright, there we go. So, let's pick that up, put that there, boom, use our rectangle, and let's hop to it. So, and hop over here, hex lib run munit create, and this is going to be UI main UI manager test. Okay, main UI manager test, and our same old business here, mock. Get rid of these things. And what we're going to do is we're going to register. So when we create a, maybe drawing this out might be clear. So we're going to do new, whenever we discard changes. So we have our screen, and let's see if I can bring this down just to here. Nope, doesn't look like I can. Okay, so we're going to register like a spot on the screen, like that, right? And so it'll track whenever the mouse is here, and then it'll know that we can click it. And when we click it, it'll transfer the click to some action. And so I'm trying to think through, I don't know if I totally like this. So if we do this, so what's going to happen is we can register the area, and then we have our input, and we have our keyboard, we have our pointing tools, which is this guy, which does a lot of stuff. So the idea, I had an idea for this originally, is the keyboard tool we might need to build this out better. Look at this. So register interactive area. And maybe this is just sort of some sort of point of interaction. And the actual clicking still happens here. It tries to do the click in the interactive area. So we may need a supplemental interface. It says like register click. And so I might kind of just play with this a little bit. So I'm going to create a new interface. I'm going to call this, and that's totally wrong, new there. So we're going to call this UI interaction handler. And this is going to extend base object. And we're going to have a function that says on click, on mouse down. Register interactive area. So on mouse down. Battle keyboard tool. No. This isn't doing anything yet. So we could do is we could have a separate tool that is a composite between, not the keyboard, the pointing tool for battle, and the UI. So what's going to happen is when we click the, look at this again real quick. Influence game input tools, VI activate. If here. So that's our keyboard. So here's our mouse. We're actually doing things here. So yeah, the current tool passes off to the current tool, which is nothing right now. And we can just call this the mouse interaction tool. This is going to be implements pointing tool. Okay. And I can do, so this is going to be kind of interesting. See here, what I like about it is all pointing is sort of controlled here at this point. So that get a null. So it could possibly track the UI first. The UI takes priority. No, I think I'm going to remove it here, delete. Guess I need a lot more thought on this one. So I should move this down. Battle pointing tool. I think what we'll do is pointer down. So I feel like we're going to have definitely a relay between the two with these, because we have, let's look at here, if we have a unit, let's make them red, if we have a unit that happens to be standing right where a button is, best art ever, and we click here, I like the idea of, I can tell he's running this direction though somehow. I like the idea of the interaction happening first before it gets passed down to the game world. Darn. So this is the struggle. I don't like the idea, this is another problem. So here, if we go back to, what if we have a situation where we, I guess it's not a big deal if we click this button and then like it opens up some sort of additional UI that opens up like multiple buttons. And I guess that would still be fine in this case. I think the downside is if we use the interaction manager, yeah, that's interesting. If we use the layers, it's important that the interaction manager is enforcing order. So if there's overlap with these two buttons, when we click this one here, right there, it registers this the one, and so that's important to understand. So the layering is important. So if we, according to our interface over here, the mouse input source, we can keep this pretty generic as far as the tool. And if we make everything run through some sort of like registered click area, then it's kind of like a relay. Battle pointing tool. What did I change? I changed the order. And then underneath that, you can have this one running. So yeah, I guess that'll work. Let's say main pointing tool implements pointing tool. So what we're going to do, check this out. Check this out. Okay, so I'm going to put these at the top here. Put this one here. So get null getter that. So this turns into like a relay. So is there a current tool? So what we'll do is we'll create a trying to think. I thought I had this, but if we make the battle area a control point, a tool, which is, or if we make it an input source, assigned, so this is our current tool for our thing. So it's going to go to our main pointing tool. The click will be passed down to here on pointer click, trace here, clicked, and then kind of just draw it out here. You can say UI manager picked up click, and then we can say pass, if not, pass down to battle. So that's, could do that, or we make the battle itself one big clickable area. The problem is we can't swap out the tool. Darn it. Maybe this isn't going to be as favorable as I'd like with the mouse input source. So here, input mouse notifications, it's this. Alright, I think this video has gone on quite a long time of me just thinking, so it's probably not that entertaining. So I'm going to cut us off here. A lot of thinking to do with this. I like the idea of, yeah, I just have to give this some thought. Alright, sorry about the last part of this video. Just trying to think through how we want to handle the mouse input. So we'll see you tomorrow. Happy coding.